I believe we just squared both sides. That's it. Okay? I'm giving you the proof, and you just kind of tell me what happens. Okay, so square both sides. All right, got that. Now, how do we get to the next step there? A squared cosine squared minus 2ab, what's all that?
Distributed squares.
You know what? Since you can't technically distribute an exponent, you can FOIL it, because it's a binomial times a binomial. Didn't we just FOIL that out, right? First, outer, inner, last. So that's a little bit of FOIL. Right there. Okay? Then we consolidated. What did we do in this next step here?
GCS.
All we did was factor out a what? Factor out, what term did we factor out? A squared. Just took it out of the two terms that had an a squared, and lo and behold, look what's inside. Sine squared plus cosine squared is always what? 1 by our old favorite identity, the, yeah, what does that sound like? Sine squared plus cosine squared. It kind of sounds like a squared plus b squared, right? It's the Pythagorean identity. So Pythagorean, we call it ID. Okay? Pythagorean identity, which states that that's always true. Matter of fact, we proved it was equal to 1 in class that day last semester with just SOHCAHTOA. We proved the whole thing. It's equal to 1. And then finally, we have that masterful formula, c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Kind of looks like what? Kind of looks like the Pythagorean theorem with a little adjustment at the end. The Pythagorean theorem works for only what type of triangles? Right triangles. This works for all triangles when you put the little adjustment at the end. And it is known as the law of cosines. And I bet you recognize it now from geometry, but you may have never known how it actually worked, and now you know how it works. Pretty simple mathematics, actually. Okay? A little bit of algebra 1. All right? And a little bit of trig there, too. Okay? So that is law of cosines. So know that formula as well right there. And as a matter of fact, this is really cool. Before you flip it over, check this out. If it happened to be a right triangle, in a right triangle, what would this theta be? 90 degrees. Does anybody remember the cosine of 90? Cosine of 90. Cosine of 90. 90 is the same thing as how many pies? What is it? Half pi, yeah. Pi over 2?
Zero.
Ah, cosine of pi over 2, or 90, is 0. So if you put 90 degrees in there, you would get 0. What happens to this now? It's gone, and you get the Pythagorean theorem. If it's 90 degrees. Oh, that is the Pythagorean theorem. 90 degrees, right angle. Right? It works. How about that? So it's Pythagorean theorem with a twist. We start with 1. All right. Okay, we're back. Okay, we start what? Okay. Yeah, well, that's okay. We got. All right. So everybody, let's go to problem A then. Let's see if we can apply these two rules right here. And I think, call me crazy. Thank you. But I believe that on that, remember that sheet they gave us last time, the formula sheet for the last benchmark? I think they actually had law cosines and law sines on there. Yeah. Which is, like we don't already know it, or we can't memorize it. Anyway, for this test, know it, okay, memorize it for this test, but I think on the final exam, you get the same sheet in the final exam, so you'll probably have the formula, so you can save your brain space for something else. Anyway, but as we know, in honors, we have no problem memorizing simple formulas like this, so don't sweat.
We don't think we're out.
That's right, we understand. Exactly. Okay, now, this one right here, triangle DEF.
Oh my gosh. I need to explain that concept to John.
Okay, easy, good. Okay, John. Okay. Okay. All right, triangle DEF. Now, here's what I would say. When you do one of these problems, always do a drawing first. Okay? I'll tell you what, scoot off to the side here. Dot equals 8. Make yourself a nice big triangle, like all the way up against the next problem down here. Okay? Nice big gigantic triangle. Try to draw it as big as you can because we have to write the angles in there. It's kind of hard to fit the little angles in there if you don't draw it big. So draw a big triangle. Take up as much space as you can. Okay? And draw a picture first. Now, it doesn't matter how you label it. I'm just going to go capital D, capital E, capital F. You can do it any order you want to, but if you want to stay consistent with me, do it that way. Okay? All right, so DEF. So first things first, draw your picture so you can see this. Especially on the back page, you really want to see what's happening here. All right, now let's put in the information that is provided to us and let's see if we can solve this one. All right, DEF. All right, let's see. D is what? 41 degrees. If they forget to put the degree symbol on, which I think last year on the final exam they didn't put a degree symbol, but you still know it's an angle if it goes along with the capital letter. Okay, so just in case. Now,
They try and trick us?
I don't think so, but they might accidentally leave it on. So just remember, okay? That's not a side, that's an angle, right? That's how far is the door open, not what is the distance between the door, right? Okay, now let's see what else we have here. E is 102, okay? Now, as you can see, this is clearly not drawn to scale because 102 is an obtuse angle, right? Okay, and that's definitely not obtuse. That's okay. Just draw it, it'll work. Okay. All right, 102, 41. I don't know. You could find it, but you don't have to. But isn't it true that the three angles of a triangle add up to be 180? So you could find that angle, but you don't need it. Okay. And D equals 8 is going to go where? On the bottom, right across from the capital B. And it says find lowercase e, which is going to be strategically located right there. Okay? There's your picture. And if you drew your triangle big enough, like I said to you, you can fit those little angles in there, because otherwise it's hard to draw. All right? So now we have to solve it. Okay. Let's see. We've got two angles here. You know what will work really well in this problem? What will work really well? Something we just learned. The law of sines. Okay? Or right. The law of sines. Okay? So let's use the law of sines and we can figure this out easily. Okay. Sine of what? Where do we start?
D.
Okay? 41. Okay, which is D. Over 8. Apparently that ratio or percentage, right? A fraction is like a percent basically. Okay? Apparently that percentage is the same as sine of -2 over e. If that's true, that's simple cross multiplication right there. Okay? Matter of fact, you're honors kids. So you don't even need cross multiplication. You can bypass cross multiplication. You can just cut the chase. Do 2 steps in 1. The e doesn't multiply up.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the e in the bottom. And couldn't you multiply the 8 up and divide the sine of 41 down at the same time?
Yeah.
It's kind of cross multiplication and then skipping a step. Okay? All right? So the e went up, the 8 went up, the sine went down. Okay? Multiply, multiply, divide. Okay? If you want to put the intermediate step, you can, but you're super smart honors kids. And now you can take that, and of course, we reintroduce the calculator today. All right? Now, a couple of things though that you want to do in your calculator. Let me go ahead and do this first with you. And if you do not have it with you today, just jot this down so you can do it tonight. So that you don't get the wrong answers, all right? First of all, if you're going to do a memory clear, it's not a bad idea unless you have a bunch of games in there. Okay, I don't have any games on this, so I kind of like to do a memory clear because there's a lot of stuff that collects in there, gets saved for different variables. So if you do want to do a memory clear, here's how you do it. Hit second.
Take all the programming and do
Yeah. Including how to equate.
Are there cheat programs in there?
No, I made one
I'll have these.
Pretty
for
much.
my personal use.
Oh, for your personal use, all right. Well, anyway, if you feel comfortable clearing it in
My
memory.
teacher cleared all my games off.
Okay, well, that's good. All right. Now, hit second plus sign. Does everybody see the word MEM for memory above the plus sign? Do we see that? Okay, if you have a calculator, at least identify that if you're not going to do this. But second, memory. Okay? And now, if you hit 7, that'll be reset. Okay? So 7 is reset. Then if you hit 1, that'll be all RAM. And then if you hit 2, that'll be officially reset. You can clear all that junk out of your calculator. And there it is. And just hit clear. Okay? So that's a good place to start. Now, something that everybody must do together though. If you are in radians, you will get all the wrong answers for sine, cosine, tangents. Okay? Ironically though, physics and calculus require radians, but not here. We need degrees. So everybody go to mode, or write this down. mode.
God bless you.
And I'm going to select, let's go down, and highlight degree, but you have to hit enter before it'll take it. So highlight degree and hit enter. Okay? And that will lock degree in place. So degree, enter. Otherwise, you will get disastrous answers. Okay? And if you want to, now this is optional, but for the float is how many decimals it displays. And I kind of like to just do 5, so I just chop it to 5 for our work. So if you want to highlight float 5, you can. It's not mandatory, but you can do float 5 and enter. Or if you want a whole bunch of decimals, you can do float 9. Okay. And then, after all that, hit second quit, and you're good. Okay, so we're all in degrees now. Now, if you don't have a calculator, do that before you do your homework. Okay?
Yeah, because if you do it radian,
It'll be bad.
Negative 50.
Yes, you'll get negative 50 for this answer if you have it in radians, and that side can definitely not be negative 50. I'll tell you that. Okay? So, type all this in. Now, the calculator won't set it up for you. You have to know SOHCAHTOA. You have to be an intelligent, honor student. Once you get here, you can do what my cats do, which is type a bunch of buttons on the calculator. Okay? That's pretty easy. Well, they're pretty smart.
Like, what all can your cats do besides
Wash
poop?
toilets. Okay.
They can poop in the toilet?
That's my training. All right.
That is
Oh my gosh.
It takes about 2 years, but it's a little system. All right, so type all this. They only flush like half the time. That's probably. Okay. Animals. All right. So anyway, so type all that in, hit enter. Let's see what we get, and you should get 11.928.
Oh, what you said.
And we are going to chop to the nearest 3 places, right? Okay, 3 places. Should be 9275, which bumps up to 928, because the 5 will bump to 7.
I got 11.597.
That's not good. You want to recheck that in. Okay,
You did it wrong.
so that's that.
Did one.
Fix them. Set them up.
Oh, yeah, so I wrote it down.
So you do everything in your brain still, and then you just kind of tippy typing a little bit. It's been a long time since you did this. Tippy typing, enter, you're done. Got it? Okay. How about that? Pretty easy, right? Okay, make sure your degrees. Okay, let's go on to example B. Triangle PRS. Okay, first things first. Okay, we should do a drawing, and we're good. Drawing. Do it again. Do a drawing. And let's label this PRS. Doesn't matter what order. I kind of like to go PRS in this order, but it doesn't matter. Okay, whatever you like. Okay, so first, draw it. And now, let's go ahead and label our Emily Ross and Matthew Bracelet drawing. What's happening right there? Stephen, Stephanie, what's going on right there? Okay, so label it, right?
Talking about chicken nugget day.
You can some chicken nuggets. Don't ever take it back. Okay, all right, PRS. Now, let's label it. Okay, S equals 42, that goes over here. R equals 37 goes over here, and P equals 28 goes down here. Okay, that's pretty easy, right? What's that? We have no angles, and we are looking for capital S, which is an angle. Just put a little question mark there. Now, if you have no angles, the law of sines will not work, because do you notice that you need at least 1 angle, if not 2 angles?
Yeah.
Okay? No angles, you would have 2 unknowns. You can't do that. So there's one other thing we can use. Law of cosines to the rescue.
Lord.
Gosh. New York
That's
friends.
the vow, we gotta redo
All
that.
right, so let's do the law of cosines. All right, now here is the key to the law of cosines. The angle you want to find, that would be the one that you attach to cosine. That's your theta, right? So well, here's what I want you to do. Try to estimate how much space you'll need for this writing. And at the very end, put cosine of capital S. You actually start at the end. Okay? So cosine of capital S is going to be first, actually last. We should write it at the end. Now, if you remember way back in your old geometry days, try to leave some space here. The angle and law of cosines must coincide.